In 1900, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse off the coast of Scotland recorded its final entry, and 3 keepers vanished from a locked tower with no trace of what took them. A beat, no struggle, no bodies, no answer, not then, not now. By the end of this, you'll understand why the men who found them never spoke about it the same way twice. The Flannan Isles sit 17 miles west of Lewis in the outer Hebrides, 7 small islands battered by some of the roughest seas in the North Atlantic. In 1899, the Northern Lighthouse Board finished building a lighthouse there on the largest island, Big Island, though it's barely the size of a few football fields. 3 keepers were stationed there on rotation: James Duckett, the principal keeper, a careful, experienced man; Thomas Marshall; and William MacArthur, a last-minute substitute standing in for a sick colleague. Ordinary men doing an ordinary job 12 miles from anyone. On December 15, 1900, the steamer Archtor passed the island and noticed something wrong. The light wasn't lit. No one thought much of it. Storms happened. But when the relief ship Hesperus arrived on December 26, delayed itself by weather, the keepers didn't come out to greet it. No flag raised. No one on the jetty. The relief keeper, Joseph Moore, went ashore alone. The entrance gate was closed. The door to the lighthouse was shut and locked from the outside, the way a keeper would leave it if he expected to be right back. Inside, the beds were unmade. A chair was overturned near the kitchen table. The clock had stopped, and the log, kept meticulously to that point, simply ended mid-entry on a day when the weather had apparently been calm. Officials pieced together an explanation fast, almost too fast. A rogue wave, they said. The kind that can rise without warning and sweep a man off rocks he's walked 100 times. 2 of the men had gone out to secure equipment near the west landing during a storm, and the 3rd followed to help, and all 3 were simply taken by the sea. Case closed, more or less, within weeks. Except the story falls apart the moment you look at the details the official report barely touched. The rogue wave theory requires a storm severe enough to sweep 3 grown men off a cliff. Yet the log entries leading up to the disappearance describe calm conditions, and Moore himself later said the sea looked unusually gentle the day he arrived. And here's what makes it impossible: oilskins and boots, the gear every keeper wore before stepping outside in rough weather, were still hanging inside. Whatever pulled Duckett, Marshall, and MacArthur out into the December sea, they went without their coats. Now watch what happens next, because this is where the record gets strange rather than simple. The last log entry, written by Thomas Marshall, a man the official inquiry described as steady, unshaken by 20 years at sea, noted that Duckett had been crying. Not a sailor's shorthand for exhaustion. Crying. The entry before that described MacArthur, the substitute, as acting strangely, and noted that all 3 men had been praying together, which none of them were known to do. The final line before the log simply stops reads, "God is over all." Investigators at the time buried these details in an appendix nobody read at the press conference. The Northern Lighthouse Board's official file, the one meant to be permanent record, never printed the crying entry at all. It surfaced decades later when a researcher requested the original logbook and found the omission for the first time. Someone at some point had decided that part of the story wasn't fit to be public. What you're left with is a pattern, not an answer. A locked door, a stopped clock, missing coats on a calm day. And a final entry describing fear in a man who had never shown it before, quietly excised from the version the public was given. Whoever decided what the world would know about Eileen Moore made a choice, and that choice wasn't about protecting the keepers. It was about protecting the story the Lighthouse Board wanted told. An accident, tidy and explainable, nothing more. The families of Duckett, Marshall, and MacArthur received a pension. They never received a straight answer. The lighthouse still stands. It's automated now, unmanned since 1971, its lights still turning over that same stretch of water. Nobody has ever recovered a body. Nobody has ever explained the coats left hanging by the door, or why a 20-year veteran of the sea broke down and cried on his final watch. So ask yourself this: if the wave took them, why did they leave dressed for a room they never meant to leave?